Hello, it is good to see you, friends of Al-Kharid. And welcome back to...
You did it wrong! Do it
I'm
again!
changing it up. No, I'm not doing it again. Shut up.
How do you know if it's wrong? It's not in the game anymore.
Well, this is true. But welcome back to the weekly Chronicle podcast hosted here on the Friends of Al-Kharid channel. We're going to talk about all sorts of Chronicle-related things today. We're going to go through some ladder, some competitive, some deck discussion, a live dungeoneering draft, and game changes and balances, and then any questions you've got we can answer at the end. Joining me, as always, is going to be the recently saved Glenn. You just about avoided relegation from the Elite Division.
Hey, it was in the bag the whole time. No pressure. I wasn't
I
worried.
believe it.
Yeah, unfortunately Ryan's back this week, so we had fun. The 1 week he wasn't here last week, and it all went really, really well. There were no errors whatsoever, no matter what you say. But anyway, joining us today, we've got a fellow member of Team Cabbage, and also really high up on the diamond ladder. It's Tankotine, or Tankotine. How do I say your name?
I go for Tankotine.
Tankotine, okay.
Depends where you're from. People vary it up. Yes, thanks for having me on. It's very nice. I've been enjoying it. I've enjoyed the new season. Most people know me. I do try and stream when I can. RSC_Tankotine. I've got quite a nice following with it. But I'm known for the guy that runs most AIDS decks, to be fair.
Yeah, I hated you.
Your claim to fame is being the second most 80 player after Freeb.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've run
I'll take
free
that.
close.
Yeah.
And then alongside him, we've got a friend from across the pond, Mr. Foro himself, taking this mantle from me. It's GameGrime.
I don't know about that.
I'm pretty sure. I think it goes 04, but I like to, just come in strong at the end there. So I kind of did okay in the RS League.
You got a couple of points.
I'm
It's
not
all
shifting
good.
this 04.
But yeah, I am GameGrime. I stream on twitch.tv/GameGrime sometimes. I also am an admin on the Discord for Chronicle. So if you're not already on there, go ahead and join it up and yell at Glenn about how old he is.
No.
Yep, that's it. That's all I
Definitely
got
do
to
that.
say.
I don't think I've ever said this, but thank you for setting that Discord up, because it's the best thing.
Oh, you should really.
Very
I
useful.
think it was Priz or Kameo. I think it was Kameo that suggested it. And I'm like, oh, I'll look into it while I was streaming. So yeah,
Perfect.
so it was
Well,
pretty good.
introductions out of the way. We're going to jump into the first section this week, and that is going to be talking about the ladder. We're going to vary it up a bit. Usually it's competitive, but we're going to go into the new ladder system because it's all new and exciting and stuff. And this week it's actually live. I don't know if Glenn managed to do it live last week.
Yes, I
because it was
did.
a change we made. But yeah, we've got the current standings on the screen, and we see the Freebka play double going on at the top. The two lovers in the community. But yeah, this is the new ladder system's incredible, and it's great to see the diamonds filling up, isn't it? How many people are there now? About 18?
There's at least 18.
18 now. Yeah.
18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I played someone who was 18th earlier. I was going to say, most people know everyone on that
The
list.
one name I
apart
don't
from-
know is Farward.
Far Ward,
Yeah, he's just
Farward.
appeared in the Discord. He's a free-to-player who only runs one deck, and that is Agrozan.
It seems to
And
be
apparently-
working.
Yeah, apparently he only lost about 5 games from Platinum 50.
Jesus.
So he's
That's,
one hell of a player.
That's
Fair
a quick
play.
climb there, eh?
Yeah.
A little bit.
And two of those four were to Snowy Wolf as well.
Yeah.
Salty Wolf.
Yeah, sorry, Wolf. I think you got the
And
name
here
right
I
there.
am for the last 3 weeks saying that Agrozan is crap.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah, you just have to
absolutely
play
stormed.
heal. It's just easy. You just play heal against it.
Well, apparently
Uh,
not. But yeah,
I'm
the
s-
names on this list are very known names. I think Stolen, isn't he a free-to-player as well?
Yes,
know.
I think he is.
So
The only
Stolen
name-
and Farward are both free-to-players, and they're both in the top 10 of the game.
Yeah.
That shows the
Says a
game's
lot.
not completely pay to win. Sure, it
Like you
helps
say, with
sometimes.
everyone being on Steam at the moment, all on the forums moaning about how it's pay to play, that says quite a lot.
but- oh, definitely.
Yeah. What was it? Forward is free-to-play with one deck, and he's one of the top players.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah. Carry on.
I've got one thing to say about this lad system. I love it. It's been brilliant. Oh well. It's not always been brilliant. It's been bloody tilting a lot of the time. It took me my 15th series to get into Diamond from Platinum.
Wow.
So I was on tilt for a good 48 hours trying to get in there.
Gatekeepers unite.
Yeah, bloody team gatekeeper. But I would love to see a little thing in there so we could actually compare ELOs, so we can see how close we are to getting into the top 10 or moving up a rank or two.
I think I agree.
Yeah.
Snowy Wolf was putting someone on the forums earlier talking about this, because I'd imagine you're in kind of a similar position to me. Now you've got Diamond, there's no need to play them, particularly being in the top 10. Beforehand, I obviously wanted to play as much as I can and was grinding, but now I'm here, there's not really much reason to play.
Yeah, well, I think the reason to play will kind of keep increasing as more and more people get into Diamond. And with there being, 34 days left of the season? Yeah, 34 days, 15 hours left of the season. Diamond's going to get packed, and keeping a top 10 spot is actually going to be really difficult, I think. And obviously, you want to keep the top 10 spot for your new card back at the end of the season. I think that's pretty much what everyone's going to be going for. I don't know if you get more rewards. It would be nice to get more rewards finishing top 10, because it gives that extra incentive to keep playing once you get Diamond.
Card back.
There is an upgraded card pack for the top 10.
Yeah, but yeah, you can see the top 10. Just run through it really quickly. So it's Freeb, Freaker, and then we've got Shredder, obviously a well-known Venescular player. Foulwood we talked about, Snowwolf and Tankotine, the brothers. You both joined at the same time, didn't you?
Yeah, we did.
And then
both
slowly made your
silver.
climb. But then we've got Suki and Stolen and Toad, who's also a fellow streamer. I think he goes by the name of Purple Haze. And obviously Wolf at the bottom.
Just about snuck in there. He's knocked interjection off just before you went and looked at the ladder.
I think he's played like 4 games in Diamond, hasn't he?
No, he's been playing today, because I've seen him up at
right. I know yesterday he was saying he'd only played a few games just so he didn't start losing ELO, and he'd won them all, and he was surprised at how far he had dropped compared to Freaker, who I don't think's played much either. So, I don't know, it would be nice to see the ELO system and see how it works and who's gaining or losing and how close you are. But yeah, it's a really good system, I think. I mean, I've not played much, but I'm kind of stuck down in silver already. So I'll be trying to make my ascent very soon. GameGrime, are you in the silver clan with me?
Silver 7 right now. Actually, I was bug testing a little bit earlier for Genesis, and I had to queue into ranked. And the bug I was testing for was I couldn't actually cancel once I started queuing. Like, I would spam press the cancel button, and I actually got all the way. Like, I gained like 5 to 7 ranks by just like testing for that bug while queuing into ranked games, because like I would have to queue in and it'd be like, all right, well, it's gonna be a little bit for the next time I can try and test this bug for you, because I gotta win this game. So yeah, now I think I'm sitting around silver 5. Like, I've always been at the high of, like, always up at high top of silver right now, so like it was a pretty easy climb to get there. It's just like I haven't really spent the time to climb to gold.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat as you. I'll be doing it at some point, but with this much time left of the season, there's no real pressure, and I'm doing other things with my life right now, so I've not really got the time.
I'm not
going
to lie, it's if it's as stressful as it was this first season getting to Diamond, God, every month
it's going to be like,
it's going to be really fun.
We can name it
really hard.
We can nickname it the Chronicle Period.
See,
this stressful week of trying to get into Diamond.
What I think would happen with these monthly resets is I would expect them to actually remember your hidden currently right now MMR, so that way the climb back up wouldn't be as hard, because like right now they just introduced the MMR system sorta. So, like, I don't know how the monthly reset is going to work. Like, in League of Legends, when they do a season reset, you actually get put in, if you're a challenger player, the max you can get, I think, is Plat 5. So it's a relatively easier climb.
Right.
Okay.
But, yeah. Like, I don't know how it's going to work out for sure.
I think
to climb
they've said
back up.
that you will be starting right down the bottom of bronze again.
I actually like that. I think it's fun. With the season length being the length it is, and obviously this is the first season, so everyone was pushing for Diamond as quick as they could. But I think as it kind of balances out, everyone's just going to have their slow... Like, some people are going to fly up the ladder as quick as they can, obviously, but there's going to be a lot of people who are just kind of go on a steady slope all the way up and try and hit Diamond before the end of the season. The same way it works in Hearthstone. I think a lot of the players early on in Hearthstone go for aggro-focused decks to just try and fly up the ladder as quick as they can and try and get to that legend rank. But then, obviously, you have the players that slowly climb over time, playing their more controlled decks, having a bit more fun with it. Not that flying up the banks isn't fun at all, but yeah, I think it's a good system, and I approve. It's got my stamp of
okay,
approval.
right. Your MMR will be kept for your placement in Diamond, apparently. Both Free Crown and Interjection have said that, and apparently it's been confirmed on Discord.
Oh, perfect. So yeah,
That's good then.
while the rank climb will be different, like your starting MMR in Diamond is going to be set based on. That's good. That's good. I like it.
One thing I do want to add on to that, sorry, just before we move on, is I think the majority of the top players are all kind of similar time zone, all seem to be European. There's a few American players who are up there, but I think kind of when everyone's, like I say, going for the Chronicle period, where they're rushing through it,
This is not becoming a thing.
everyone's kind of all the top players are playing each other. I'm not sure if perhaps this is a similar thing why Farwood's kind of come up and no one's realised. When, say, we're all going to bed or not on time, different time zones, people who aren't playing as often can kind of smash it up the ladder where they're not playing such big names.
Maybe.
And I think that's perhaps coming into effect a bit with this.
I think we've always kind of said that most of the top players seem to be European. We've obviously got the exceptions of people like Suki, obviously Toad's in the top 10, he's American as well. So we have a few exceptions, but like maybe enough people are European that are the top names that it does become a little bit easier. But I think one of the mods said that the biggest player base is actually from America. Like the core of their players are actually American.
It's quality over quantity. EU better than NA.
Wow.
Okay. All right. That's a little bit insulting. But I mean, it does show when I play the game compared to how other people play the game. I guess that makes a little bit of sense. Oh, whoops. I don't know what happened there. I'm back. It went grey for a second.
Yeah. Right, so I think we've talked all we really can about the ladder. It's going to be fun to see more names and the movement that people are going to have up there. I know Suki was second and went down to 18th on stream last night, which was amusing to watch, to say the least. Tiltmaster. But we'll be moving on.
Back up today, though.
Yeah, definitely slowly back up to 7th. So.
Those. I mean, it's just a space of, I think it was about half an hour to an hour. He dropped 16 ranks in Diamond.
It's insane.
So it shows how close everyone is.
So we're moving on to the competitive scene, I guess. We're starting with the RS Chronicle League, and we've got the Open Division on screen. Now, we've obviously been 1 week into the season, and we've extended it by another week, the season itself. This is mainly because, obviously, with Steam release, me and Glenn are really going to be pushing for new players to join the Open Division and get involved, and we want them to have the full 4-week experience. Also, the fact that not many games have been played in the top 3 divisions, both Premiers and the Elite, is mainly because that's obviously helped us with the decision to move it to add another week to it. So it means people have more time to play their games. But as you can see on the screen, we have the current Open Division winner is going to be Ash Percy. Recently
He's got a
fathered.
solid start.
Yeah.
Yes,
definitely.
congratulations to Ash. He's just had his first. Well, he hasn't had his first kid, but.
His wife Gemma.
Yeah.
They've got baby
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Yeah.
I know
Ash is a solid player. Sorry. Last season he didn't get to do as much. Obviously, his wife being heavily pregnant, he just didn't get put in the time. Even so, he was only just out of the top 8. I think you actually picked him towards the end, didn't you, the season?
Yep.
So this season, if he's going to put in a bit more time. So 100% win rate so far for himself, and it looks like both those were actually 2-0, weren't they? So he's not dropped a game.
I'm not gonna lie, his decks seem familiar. Tank.
It may
I played
have been
against him in
noted.
Community Cup, and I definitely recognised at least 2 of those decks.
Yeah.
Well, fair
I
enough.
can't deny that point.
What was I going to say? You had a fun time against him in the cup, though, didn't you, Glenn? Where he, at the end of the last game, he had to rush off to go and feed his son, so didn't actually see the conclusion of the game.
We played our chapter 4, and then obviously I was watching it play out, and then about 5 minutes after the match finished, I got a message from him saying, "Oh, I had to run off. I didn't see how it did it reach the final fight. I didn't see how it ended. I had to run off and go and get a bottle for the baby." I was like, "Okay, fair enough."
It's always fun times, isn't it? But yeah, we'll go for the rest of the league, I guess. Lemonade Tang, obviously a great player, finished in the top 8 last season and got 3-2'd by Ryan, it's not easy. And then I think he lost to Virulence. Was it Virulence?
No.
Zero Fine in the
Zero.
lucky loser bracket. So he's back up there anyway, 2 wins and a loss. The one I wanted to point out mainly is Ayeri. I don't know how you say his name, but he's smashed out 6 games already. Like, admittedly, he's lost 5 of them, but for him to be that keen, it's kind of like Gloomy Q Part 2.
Yes.
He just plays the insane amount of games.
6 games in, 5 days?
Yeah. I know most of them were in the first couple of days as well. I don't think he's played in the last 2. So
he'd done 5 in 3 days.
It's mad. But you can see there's some common names up there, Bloodbone and Tyflicky. But we're only just getting started in the Open Division, and hopefully we're going to have a lot of people joining and making that competition really fierce up there. I know I'm looking forward to entering all the results and seeing the new top dogs, I guess, after the few of us got promoted. And the place where they'll be looking to get promoted to is going to be the Premier Divisions. We're going to start in... actually, I'm going to change it from Premier B. We're going to go to Premier A, the one that has had a game played in it. It's actually had 2. It's Not Easy and Tankotine have both played Musha. And unfortunately, Musha's rock bottom.
Propping up the league.
Well, someone has to be, don't they? So, but yeah, this is an interesting division. We talked about it obviously last Sunday when we drew them. But I'd like to know Tank's and GameGrime's thoughts on this league. So, Tank, do you want to start us off? Who do you think's going to win it?
I'm going to be honest. Comparing between the two, I think I've had the easier draw, and I don't think anyone can deny that. Group B is far stronger than Group A. But saying that, all the players here are good, and I don't think there are going to be many easy games. I don't know too much about some of the lads who have come up from the Open Division, to be honest.
Yeah, I know, obviously me playing down there, I kind of know most of them, like Zero Fine, Gloomy Q, etc. But I think I'd agree, you've definitely got the easier...
Everyone else is recognised names, and kind of we can all win it on a certain day, so it's anyone's.
I'm going to call you for a winner. Who do you think is going to win it? Do you think it's going to be yourself?
No. I personally will say Snowy.
You think?
Although it hurts me to say it.
Didn't you finish above him last season, though?
I did. And I'm keep claiming that.
RNG luck.
He finished 4th.
Yeah, GameGrime, have you had much time to look at this? This is a fun league. Obviously, you went down last season.
I mean, I did play my time in the league. Like, by the end, I started actually enjoying it, to be honest, a little bit. It is missing that, like, it is quite a good competition in the way, like, I first of all didn't understand how it was, like, the brackets were laid out. But then as I understood, like, how, well, football is laid out for those brackets, I actually understood it a lot more. So it makes sense. So, like, the competition that you can see, like, in there, it's actually looking really insane, and I gladly lose 4 in a row to any of them, because, like, I respect almost every player that I can see in that list. Like, I don't feel like there would be be an easy game for me out of any of the players, except for maybe Tankotine. Well, that'd be a pretty easy game.
Snowy has. Can I say Snowy has just had a massive claim in the chat. If he doesn't finish 1st or 2nd in Premier Group A, he'll do 10 ridiculous requests the Chronicle community has.
We are taking advantage of that.
If that is not incentive for everyone in Premier Division A.
Basically, we need some people to dedicate losses and then beat Snowball. That's what needs to happen in that division. But yeah, that's a big claim. So he's confident that he's going to do it. But we're going to move on to the harder of the 2 groups, arguably, and that is going to be Group B, the one that I'm in. And
absolutely hilarious to watch come out.
The draw stage was insane.
Well,
Ryan doesn't agree with me.
Well, it was funny because I joked about, I'll get drawn in Group A, whatever, and we're like, yeah, it's definitely not fixed, and it felt a bit like maybe it is fixed to people watching, and then when we started drawing the groups, and then this one came out, and I got put in it, it was kind of a confirmation that no, they're definitely random. But yeah, we've asked. I know I messaged Glenn the message to send out for feedback on the groups being drawn. So if you're in the top few divisions, you'll get a message off him, and I'd like for you to reply to that if possible. But going through this league, it's just stacked on stacked, isn't it?
You could make an argument that you could see any of these 8 in the elite division.
No, not me.
100%.
Sorry, friends. I'm going down. I'm going to join my open division where I belong.
Because Wolf, YX, and Tsuki just come down from the elite division, could quite easily go straight back up. Vitus, I only just beat him to stay up in the elite division. And thank God I did, because I would be going down again if I was in that league.
Yeah.
Sockham, again, another good player. I think did you get semi-final, quarter-final in the Legends Invitational?
Something like that.
And Jag, constantly making new decks. I played against her in the Cup. Again, she nearly beat me then. Goth, just one of the most unpredictable players to come up against, so you're never confident against her. So, and then yourself, Ryan, as well, who, scrub.
Yeah, basically. That's confirmed 8, so the rest of the 7 can play out for the other spots.
I know you like to abuse Ryan, but I think he's actually quite a solid player, and I think he can pull out a few wins. Granted, I don't think you're going to win it, but...
I'm hoping I can stay. That's my aim.
Yeah, mid-table there quite easily.
I see in the chat, Unforgiven's calling out YX team meme. He wants to support his buddy there. So.
And he's also calling Wolf to get relegated, so I'm not sure.
No, I think Wolf's gonna actually drop down to the open division to teach some lessons to the new kids. I mean, he might do it on purpose.
Wolf's gonna go like
you never know.
30 and 0 in the open division.
He's playing too much Overwatch recently to actually get good.
And the thing is, it's just showing that he just grinds Chronicle a lot. He's not actually a good player. All he does is grind.
Oh, it's just RNG. He gets first turn all the time. Yeah. That's how he wins.
First OP and...
First OP.
Moving up to the Promised Land is going to be the Elite Standings. And this is not had a game played in it yet, and I think everyone's just a bit scared of each other at this point. Because
I'm not quite sure
again,
who to play first.
I don't know, like... If I was there, I think I'd just go through alphabetically or something like that. Like, that's the best way to choose it.
Well, look, Bryo, when we picked out the relegation playoffs, and I picked out Vitus instead of Bryo, I thought, I'd have preferred to play Bryo maybe over Vitus, but then he went and beat Tsuki, so maybe I'm underestimating him.
Oh, maybe.
And then
It was a really good game.
Freaker and Free, always at the top of all the ladders and all the leagues. Interjection, absolutely stormed the league once he fixed his computer.
And then lost the last game to lose the league.
And then lost the last game, unfortunately. Cricky picks up wins against everyone. Potty, I think, dropped only 1 point in getting promoted from his league last season. And then Unforgiven, who is the reigning champion. So, again, it's so hard to pick who's going to go up or down in this league.
Right, Tank, who do you think is going to win it? I want one name.
I think Free will win it, but I think Potty Mouth will surprise a lot of people in top 3 for Potty.
Okay. GameGrime? If you had to call one person to win it?
If I want to call one person to win it, can I take... I want to say Freaker Play, because I believe in my little buddy there.
I believe it as well.
Also, I have a prediction for how most games are going to go against Unforgiven. It's going to start out pretty good for him, and then he's just going to be like, it's just full tilt. So then he'll win the first one and then not get a good draw in the second game, and then the third and fourth game he'll just play Jad first slot, first turn. Like I feel like Unforgiven's gonna purposely try and follow Wolf down into open division. I think that's how it's gonna work.
Done. He can retire.
Yeah, he's done it now. He's the first champion that we had. So, we'll see, I guess. But these games, obviously, we've still got 4 weeks from now. So is it June the 26th?
26th, yes.
I believe is the last date to play your games. We advise 2 games, as always, per week, if possible. And, good luck in your games, guys, because I know I'll be starting mine, hopefully, this weekend. And I'm going to get wrecked. So moving on to the other competitive scene we have is going to be the Chronicle Community Cup. And we're down to the last 16. Well, we're down to the last 14, but we'll talk about the last 16, which we've got on the screen.
Yeah. We went through before you do that. We went through this last week and listed off a number of names who have already been knocked out before this stage. And the names we went through, you could quite easily think, oh, they're in the quarterfinals. There was some really big names who've been knocked out. I mean, the obvious ones to mention: Wolf, Interjection, Tank. I saw you got knocked out as well. There's some big names gone.
Yeah, already. But I know these last 16 is kind of going to be the most telling round for me. A couple of people have got here without playing games. I know Crazy Helm hasn't played anyone yet, and I believe Unforgiven hasn't. I can't be too sure though. But this is like the last 8 is probably going to be stacked, and I don't want to call a winner here. I don't think that's
No,
The way you
well,
put
I
it
was
laid
gonna say
on the screen, sorry, is this the actual...
Yeah,
the
that's
brackets
the
on the
actual
left-hand side?
brackets
It's the last
over there.
16, yeah.
Yeah, they're in order properly as well.
So the two games
top...
in the last 16 have been played. Freeb has beaten Soccer, and I've beaten Ash. The rest of the last 16 games are still to be played.
So Forest King or Unforgiven will be playing Merchant or Goth. Bundy or Virulence will be playing Glenn. Sarah or Crazy Helm will be playing Freeb, and Cricky or Vitus will be playing against Master Frumple or Snowwolf. And I'm thinking, based on this draw, the last 4 are going to be Unforgiven, Glenn, Freeb, and Snowwolf. And
I'd agree
would
with
be
that.
a stacked last 4.
how do you pick a winner?
I'm going to slightly change from you. I'm going to go Unforgiven, hopefully myself, but I know Bundy is a ridiculously good player, and Virulence knocked out Wolf, so who knows. Freeb and Cricky.
Yeah, you're going for Cricky at the end, okay?
Yeah.
Tank?
I agree with you. I think Snowy will take that bottom bracket. Unforgiven. Glenn, you've probably got the hardest of the 4. Like you say, Bundy and Virulence are both good players. Obviously, you had your win against Ash. And I think Freeb will take his bracket.
I think I agree. GameGrime? Any other thoughts?
I'm just reading the list now, and I'm actually surprised about like some of the names that I see that are just like new names. Like I've never seen Ash Percy, even though you've mentioned him earlier. I lost to Forest King, so I'm a little glad that he's here. So I want him to move forward, because it's just
Need
like,
him to win it to say you went up.
if he wins it, I'll be like, I was the runner-up. I was one of the people he faced.
That's how it works. Definitely.
That's how it works, yeah. So, like, I honestly, my opinion, I don't think I can give much of an opinion here, other than I'm really hyped for the last few games, because like I just can't wait to see like another borrowed power or something like that.
I think it's from the last 8 casted and live, or recorded at least and casted. So
that's when we'll see that borrowed power moment again.
Yeah.
I really want to see some high level Chronicle play come out.
Yeah,
so that would be exciting.
I want to give a shout out to Merchant here, because I've written him off in both of the games he's played so far, and he's won both of them 2-0. So yeah, shows what I know.
Yeah, I think he's a dark horse to be watched here. I still think Unforgiven's probably the better player out of the 2. So I think Unforgiven and Merchant will both win their game, but then I think Unforgiven should beat Merchant. It's a best of 5 after this round as well, so it's a bit more telling, because obviously best of 3s you can quite easily get 2 really lucky games, and it decides the entire tie. The odds of getting 3 completely lucky games are a lot less, so best of 5 should be a lot more telling.
The longer the game is, the more it favours the better player.
Yeah.
The shorter the game is, you can get upset. So I do quite like the early stages being quite short, because upsets are entertaining. Let's be honest. But when you get towards the later stages, best of 5s, best of 7s. That's the way it should be.
Yeah, I think so.
People specialise in certain decks as well, like you say, that they can get a few early wins in the early bracket where they don't have to use all of the decks. But towards the end, where people have to consistently win with every deck, I think the same kind of names are going to be appearing.
Yeah.
Talk about decks. We're going to move on to this week's deck discussion, and it's a deck made by Glenn, so you're going to have to kind of run us through it.
Well, I'm going to have to give a lot of this credit to Jagaris, because I basically took her deck and made, I think, 2 or 3 changes.
So it's completely yours now.
Yeah, it's officially completely
yours.
mine. And basically, the aim of this is just to be greedy. Get as much AP as possible and heal and get to the final fight. And you'd be surprised, like it doesn't have a lot of interaction with your opponent apart from the Black Knight Titan and the Frank and the Warlord. Well, also it's got the Trace Daith that might keep your opponent in check a little bit. But considering it doesn't really mess with your opponent that much, it has a very decent win rate. I know Jag's had a lot of success with her version. I can regularly get up to 14, 15, 16 AP by the final fight.
See,
and if you can survive and with that kind of AP, you'll generally win.
I was going to bring up that. Do you actually feel the need to get up that high? Like, I feel if someone's playing an AP stack deck, then sure, maybe you'll need to get that high. But most of the time, if you're playing against RyanNs, if you're playing against Linzas, you just, quite frankly, don't need that much.
No,
BKT
agreed,
will keep the Linza in check. Redbeard Frank will keep the Goldstan in check. It just feels a bit too greedy, and I know A-Level 126 playing on Ladder has a very, very greedy Venescular deck, and he gets absolutely
25
punished.
AP.
Yeah, but you can punish him so easy with things like Ogre Chieftain? Is that the one that
If you grief him at any position, you're likely to hit him and can kill him.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
This deck has got a couple of obvious weaknesses, and probably at the moment, because Ogre Chieftain is seeing a lot of play since the Yoga Shaman nerf, it might be one to hold on to for a bit. Give it a week or so until people counter the Ogre Chieftain, and that disappears, and then this deck will come back into its own again.
Yeah, and that's the way meta works.
But yeah, the only problem the only difficulty I've had with this deck and trying to improve it is obviously you'd want to get more strikes in there, but the problem is you take out some of the AP gain to get more strikes, and all of a sudden it becomes less consistent, and it's more difficult to gain the AP in order to gain the advantage of striking.
Mm-hmm.
So this is so difficult to get the balance right, and I haven't quite mastered it with the mixture of the AP and the striking.
Mm-hmm. I think you've got a good deck here, but I personally don't think I'd run it purely because it's too greedy. And the way it works for A-Level 126, he has the same problem where if he gets griefed, it's over, basically. Mm-hmm. I know I've bar fought 2 weapons out of his hand and he's just killed himself to things like Sentinels and stuff like that. So yeah. I don't know any changes you can make to this deck. Tank, GameGrime, if you've got any suggestions, go ahead.
The only thing I'd possibly debate would be an Ogre Chieftain for kind of mirror matchups similar to AP Venesculas and AP Raptor gains, just to kind of give it a bit of a swing.
I think that's what Varago's there for, though.
Yeah. Same kind of thing. And the only thing, you're using no gold. I don't know how much gold this actually brings in. I could see you've at least got 2 with the Crussian Warrior. Is that just it?
That's it.
Okay.
And
I was going to say the other thing would be potentially a Dara.
Yeah.
But you'd probably swap the Crassians out for the White Wolves.
And even possibly look at Wilderness, just like you say, for a bit of strike in there.
Yeah.
GameGrime?
Well, I can see this deck, and it's like it can be pretty strong. Like that's how I gain ranks sometimes in Silver. Not like this specific deck, but I run a Raptor deck, and I just find that it works out on Raptor so much better than it would for Venescula.
I think I agree.
You can run in a mirror matchup. You run the Ice Nihil, and then that gives you like on average about 10 armor. And then if you do an Ice Nihil or like an animated armor, your question is like, why would you bother getting a bunch of attack power? Well, if you run animated armor on Raptor, you can go ahead and just get like up to 30 armor with just 2 cards.
Mm-hmm.
So and that gives you enough gold. Like I run this deck, but not this specific setup. And then you can clearly see with this deck, there has been a nerf to Fern and Ogre Brute with this deck specifically. It's just like you run 27 monster creatures and 3 supports. Like there is something wrong with this picture when you can do 27 and make it still a little viable in lower ranks. So it's very, very greedy, and there should be a way to get rid of it. Like you could say, and on a Raptor one as well, you could say, just run Chieftain, but then at that point, if I'm getting enough armor that if you're stacking it to kill Chieftain or something like that, like I can stack up to 90 effective health your chieftain's not going to do much when you do 2 of them at that point. I can still kill you in 2 hits when your chieftain will just hit my armor.
I feel like the problem that the AP decks face, because obviously they're really, really strong, and once they get going, with a lot of the decks in the current meta, it's hard to stop them, and you're going to lose, basically, unless you're playing a mirror matchup. And I think the main problem for me is the heals are actually too strong. I think Culinaromancer heals too much, Draenor drains too much, and Fledgling does too much. And if you tone down these decks become a lot weaker and more susceptible to other decks. And I think at that point, it kind of means that the AP stack doesn't feel like once they get going, they've won. It kind of feels like once they get going, you need to have some well-placed cards and well-placed combos that are going to just burst them down before they can heal up. Because Draenor into Culinaromancer heals for 14 in 2 cards. That's nearly half your health. That's insane. And it's not hard to take out a Draenor at all. And then you need 2 AP to kill the Cully. So I think they just heal a bit too much. I'd like to see Draenor drain 3 rather than 4. Culinaromancer healing 8 rather than 10. And I think Fledgling healing 4 or 5 instead of 6. And I think I'll put this... I think
I can get on board with that.
More like... I don't know. Tetsu's also a very strong card. Like a lot of the heals are limiting, I think, a lot of the possibilities with decks at the minute, and they just keep adding heals. Like, stop.
Yeah, well, I think,
we don't need more.
Yeah. I think healing should be easier than dealing damage, but yeah, I think the balance is not quite right at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's far off because aggro can still work.
Yeah, but you need almost perfect draws for aggro to work.
Well, no, because Farward has proven that aggro can have a 90% win rate in Platinum, so it can work.
It depends though, because I know a lot of people moved away from the AP stacking decks from the early ladder. I know everyone ran them at the very start, and then they started getting countered, so a lot of people moved away from them. So maybe that's why his aggro decks are enjoying more success. People trying to play book decks, trying to play cannonballs and whatnot. So maybe, but I don't know. This deck's very interesting. It's obviously very susceptible to early aggro if it doesn't draw right. And it's only got the draw of the 2 Kruskins, I think. I'm reading.
Yes.
It has discards with KGPs, and obviously it draws Elvargstra and Wormbrain. But I think with it also has Redbeard Frank's draw, because that makes sense. That's a completely different story. But yeah, this is a good deck, but I personally wouldn't run it. I know that much. I think it's much better suited, as GameGrime said, to Raptor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, I think if that's all we've got to say about this deck, we're going to move on to the live Dungeoneering run. And this week, before I put it up on the screen, who are you looking forward to playing? Because obviously we played RyanN last week, so I don't think we'll be taking her.
What were the results from last week first?
Yeah, I was going to say, just before we start it, last week I did it with Raptor, with the Silverlight Raptor.
Silverlight
That was
Raptor.
a good idea.
Did it work?
Seems good.
Well, let's say... Yeah.
That's not a word. Can you spell that?
But I mean, okay.
6 and 3.
That's not bad.
The first game I got up to 12 base attacks. I thought, holy hell, this is a 12-0 run coming in. But then I didn't get the god draws after that. The most interesting thing for me was out of the 9 games, my opponent discarded my Silverlight 4 times.
Oh.
So, yeah, I didn't get a chance to use it very often.
Right. So, I'm just going to get into this week's choice, and we have Linza and RyanN. Personally, my 2 favourites. I don't know about you guys, but I love playing Linza.
I find
it's so fun. And RyanN's just the most consistent.
Pretty weak compared to out of those 2. I would definitely pick RyanN every time, but in the interest of having fun, I'd say go with Linza. Try and make a grief Linza deck. Like, setting your rival to 1 base attack really does work in Dungeoneering, because like if you go against an RyanN, you're not going to have like a 1 attack RyanN in Dungeoneering as often as you would in the normal construction. So
I mean, the only 12 win draft, I actually went 12-0 with a grief Linza of sorts. And I actually beat Glenn in the final game to go 12-0. We were both 11-0, and we played each other in the last game, and I beat him. So I went 12-0, and you went 12-1, was it?
Yep. Yeah, I managed to win the next one.
But yeah, we're both playing Lindsay. We both had grief cards, so it obviously shows that it's a very good deck. So I think we're going to go with Lindsay this week. Just makes sense because we did RyanN the last time I was on as well. So round 1.
I got a good question for these rounds. Like, how do I know what are like the good cards or like bad cards to pick up? Like, does anyone have an option out there? Like, does anyone have an option out there for me to figure out like what tier these cards are?
Well, funny you should mention that. Because being released hopefully tonight on Reddit and the forums, Interjection is going to be posting his Dungeoneering tier list, which I know a lot of people have been helping out with. I know Unforgiven. I've been helping out a little bit. But yeah, he's been the main driving force behind it. But yeah, that segue was awesome. By the way, GameGrime, thank you very much. So yeah, keep a lookout for the for that post on Reddit and the forums later on tonight. It's a completely comprehensive list. Every card in the game is on there, and there's split into 10 ranks, I believe.
And it's also split between the 5 legends. So
it's split between the legends entirely. So you can go to the tab, whichever legend you are. You can go to that tab, use it. And yeah, so there's a lot of people who've put their opinions into this. It's been taken a long time to put together. It's really well thought out. So yeah, it's been valuable to any new people to Dungeoneering and even experienced guys. I mean, I use it, so.
Yeah, I agree. So I think we're going to jump into the first round of the draft. We've got Penguin Sheep, Dust Devil, Stack of Sharks, Unstable Concoction, and Meg. So I think the obvious choice here is
Dust Devil.
Pretty basic choice there, don't you?
Drop from the podcast.
Dust Devil just spun around as it joined my deck, so that's fine. But yeah, I think I'd take Meg out of the rest of these. I think the goal gain is quite good. And I don't think the other 3 cards is particularly amazing. So, a few.
I think the only other one to think about there would be possibly Stack of Sharks, but I'd agree with Meg as well.
Stack of Sharks is okay. I know I was hearing Interjection talking about it earlier, and it starts becoming good at around 9 when you've got 9 health. And it also, I think the value of it significantly decreases when you're second in games, and obviously not being able to judge whether you're going to be first or second in your game, it makes it a bit more difficult of a card to pick. But I think Meg, just for allowing goal gain, because hopefully we're going to get offered a Tetsu Katana at some point, it just makes sense for me. I'm going to go with Meg. And all these cards are doing MLG 360 spins. I love it.
Yeah, that's actually a new thing in the most recent patch. They added ways that you could see your own card back a little bit more. Like it seems like buying a card back. Sorry, I can't really.
It is difficult to say.
It's not really that rewarding to you personally, so they're making it a little bit more prevalent, like when you open up packs or when you see the spinning card here. So like they're just adding small little animations like that for quality of life updates.
I like it. So round 2, we have KBD, King Black Dragon, Cake Mix, Wizard Triborn, Saucy Wench Deckhand, and Calgair. And
Triborn and KBD because you need the gold for Triborn.
Perfect logic.
Yeah.
I love how you managed to keep a straight face while you said it.
I'm actually not adverse to taking Wizard Triborn, but I think I'd go with Saucy Wench Deckhand with it rather than the KBD. Personally,
I would make a case for Calgair here.
Okay. I thought we were going for some sort of grief, Lindsay. That was my aim.
You are right. Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big fan of Saucy Wench Deckhand.
Of course, it has cannonballs. Of course, you're a big fan.
Exactly. But the other thing, it's got gold grief in there. Now, the more deck I'm running at the moment, which has taken me straight to diamond, it's kind of a grief Linza, but with gold grief as well. And I've sniped so many spell books away with just that one with removal gold and the other pirate which removes 2 gold. You actually get a lot of value from the gold removal, and I think it's quite an underestimated point to the game.
Yep. Yeah. So Triborn Deckhand, I think, is, considering our goal with this deck, I think that's the best choices to go for here. Yeah. Right, next round 3. Ring of Recoil, Hobgoblin, Dragon Longsword, Ice Warrior, and Ramaki Hoarder. Now there's one obvious
Ice
pick
Warrior
here.
is an insta pick.
Yeah, Ice Warrior is an insta pick. It's so good. Its weapon can be used for so many different things. It can activate Ice Dust Devil. It can activate things like Repurpose, and it's obviously just a great card overall. But I don't know for the other card.
Now it's wait, Ice Warrior gives 2 gold. What? Okay. That's a little strong. Would you like? What would you do? Pick up Ring of Recoil and try and run that for a little bit, like free damage, or like Hobgoblin to actually just get the armor removal? Because I don't know, like, would you try and do Ramaki Hoarder for the random spellbook gain?
Oh God,
maybe that would work.
I
don't know about running Dragon Longsword though.
I like D-Long a lot because going into a final fight, if you're Grief Linzer and you haven't managed to win throughout the game, having a big weapon like D-Long or Tetsu Katana, which we're not obviously guaranteed to get, but we're highly likely, but having a big weapon like that can basically just finish a game. So I think I quite like the fact D-Long. And as Interjections just said in the chat, it opens up so many other options as well if we get offered things that are big, so I'm going for it. But yeah, moving on, we have, oh my god, Armadillion Golem, Mischievous Imp, Obsidian Golem, Romilly Weaklax, and Dragon Scimitar.
Imp.
Or Scimitar, as it's actually said.
Definitely
I don't
that
know.
Imp.
Imp
that
value
1 gold,
is
draw
insane.
1 card. Yeah, that's pretty good. It also stops any grief.
It's actually probably not a bad pick
It's not
in this
a bad
little lot.
card because it's never a dead card in your hand.
I
It's a
think I
cycle
agree.
card and gives you a gold.
It's
Oh,
the card
and
that
you can
gives
Silverlight into it. I didn't even know it was a demon.
There you go.
Oh my god. Why
Because-
is it a demon? It's tiny.
Because technically it is a demon. Like, it is a thing.
The synergy. The Keris deck has just got 10 times stronger.
So, I mean, are you actually going to be getting a big weapon enough? Like, are you
No.
going to try and kill the Armadillion Golem or the Obsidian Golem? Like remove for weapon attack from rival. The only thing that I find really good with the Obsidian Golem is that it gives me 3 gold.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think-
And then at that point, it's just like, okay, well, Armadillion Golem gives me 4 gold for 2 more damage if I 2-hit it. So, like, what's the better option here?
But Armadillion
I don't
Golem
really
also
agree with
always
any
gives you armor. It also gives you 3 armor guaranteed. So,
So, I mean, it's
it could
3
be good,
armor.
but I think I like Mischievous Imp and Romilly. Romilly's
Yeah,
just
they're pretty good.
I'm
constantly.
with you.
I like-
It fits the theme as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with those two.
I'd like in a different situation where we're not trying to build necessarily Grief Linzer, I would definitely go for something like Dragon Scimitar and Armadillion. But I think in this case we go Mischievous Imp and Romilly because it just makes sense. But moving into round 5, we have Wounded Calphite, Restore Potion, Gravite Longsword, Obsidian Golem, and Hurl Weapon.
Is it Gravite Longsword?
Gravite
did you
Longsword
say?
I think has to be
Yeah.
picked. If we get a Repurpose, that's like insane.
Well, I usually like doing Gravite Longsword into Work Order. That's my
Yeah,
favorite
that's
combo.
such a good
Yeah.
combo.
So I'm
When
gonna
my
take
rivals
Gravite.
when my rivals at 1 attack, I like adding 2 health. That's like an extra auto attack, but then there's 4 attack there, so it's like really nice.
Yeah, it allows for easy reach, but it's a very good Grief activating card. I don't know about the other ones. Wounded Calphite is not necessarily a bad card. Hell Weapon kind of goes against what we're trying to do. Same with Obsidian Golem. Because, well, to be quite honest, Obsidian Golem just isn't that good.
No. Yeah, I think it's between Wounded Calphite and Restore Potion here.
I think considering we took Romilly, I think Wounded Calphite is probably the better option.
Yeah.
Both
Yeah,
are
I'm
obviously
with
a
you there.
5 health swing. You don't need anything to activate Wounded Calphite apart from them having armor. But with Restore Potion, you need 3 gold, and chances are you're going to be wanting to keep that for something like Karam, or to buy a big weapon like Tetsu Katana going into the final fight. So, Wounded Calphite it is. Plus, it makes the value of Keris so much higher.
I would put up a bit there for her weapon, just where I know it's kind of against the point, but even if we run an Ice Warrior into it, that's a straight 8 damage.
I agree, but I'd like to use the Ice Warrior for other things. I think it's much better value elsewhere. But round 6, we have Calphite Soldier,
some
Restore
nice
Potion,
choices.
Tool Belt, Goblin Raider, and Drunken Pirate, and I'm actually stuck because I'd like to take all 5 of these.
Goblin
Yeah.
Raider, I would say.
I
is
think
a
Goblin
must.
Raider
Raider
activates
makes
Dust
sense.
Devil, so it makes sense. It also activates
And I would also
Repurpose.
lean towards Drunken Pirate for gold,
Yes,
green,
so
and for
would
gold
I.
itself.
I like Tool Belt a lot.
I think Drunken Pirate is going to be more useful in more matches than Tool Belt. Dungeoneering, a lot. Gold is more
Gold is
available.
more. You heard it here
I don't
first.
think
Gold is more in Dungeoneering. No, gold is spent more than in Constructed. Constructed, you can have decks without gold. You can't do that in Dungeoneering.
And I think in Dungeoneering as well, where kind of gold isn't as easily come by with, say, constructed decks, that they're more likely to play it to the exact figure. So even a 1 gold grief
like it.
can stop a lot.
Okay, I'm willing to go with you guys on that one.
Tool Belt's a good
I mean,
card, but it's only good. It's I can't get my words out. It's good
conditional.
in fewer
It's good
situations.
against people that have a weapon. Drunken Pirate's good against anyone that has gold.
Yeah.
So,
I
in
think
more
Drunken Pirate's
situations, Drunken Pirate will work more often than Tool Belt. But
Yeah, I think I
Tool
agree.
Belt is strong. So, I don't know.
I'm going to go with Drunken Pirate because that seems to be the consensus, so I'm just going to go for it.
But yeah, you're right. Any of those 5 cards were good for this deck.
Yeah.
Round 7, oh god. We have Repurpose, The Adventurous, Tenebra, Tuztok Jad, and Dragonforge.
All right. So
Ugh.
take the Adventurous and then hope for
Well, we've got
a
Meg. We've already
50
got Meg.
ships.
Ooh.
Meg
Yeah.
into The Adventurous isn't actually that bad, and Repurpose is obviously a
Repurpose
great card.
Adventurous.
And that also, the thing is, the other cards are also trash in this
Yeah,
deck.
that's what I was like. Oh yeah, take Adventurous because it's troll, and it's like no, that's actually the second best card for this deck.
But the thing
So
is,
yeah,
you
I
can
would say
draw.
take repurpose and the Adventurous to actually get the Meg worth there.
yeah, the other thing,
You could see
Hang on,
like
hang on. We've got
Dragon Long
interjection
Makes
into
a good
Dragon
point.
Force.
Long, yeah.
Oh well, it's already
yeah,
through.
it's too late.
Oh, okay.
The thing
Well,
is,
rest in peace.
with Jad, we'd have to get enough gold to play Dragon Longsword. We'd also have to draw Dragon Longsword and Jad to get the full value. And I just don't know if it's that viable in this deck so far. So I think it was obvious that we had to just take.
What did you
the
take
Adventurous.
right away?
Yeah, you just instant
Ali.
selected
Ali.
Samantha.
That was Ali.
Okay.
Ali
Ali
wrote
was
something.
definitely.
I can't not take Ali. So round 8, we have Ice Warrior, Varric Museum, Mutineer, and Armadillion Golem, and I think this is fairly obvious.
Ice Warrior. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice warrior. We need another Dust Devil though.
Yeah.
So, round 9, Tuzhahu, Raging Calphite, Chaos Druid, Stack of Sharks, and Wizard Triborn. I don't like this at all.
Okay.
Apparently, we don't have enough grief in this deck so far, but like, I would say Triborn, and if they stack armor, Raging Calphite would be good because, like, I don't think Tizar her would work, or Chaos Druid is pretty lame. Stack of Sharks would be nice though. I don't know. It's like definitely take Trailborn, and then it's a tie between Stack of Sharks and Raging Calphite. Just depends on what you feel would be killable or workable in this deck.
I
For
think I
me,
agree.
that is.
Chaos Druid, what random potions could you get that are actually any good?
The only one I would think of is
Stampot.
Mind Bomb.
No, Stampot's also a
Explosive.
good one.
Explosive potion OP.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, I don't mind the Wizard Triborn Stack of Sharks. Because we've only obviously got 1 heal and a repurpose here.
And we've got 12 gold already, and to be honest, we're not spending that much.
No, exactly.
Mhm.
Considering the Adventurers is probably going to be free when we play it, so. I
I'd
think
go
Stack of
for
Sharks
2.
Triborn makes sense.
Yeah.
Round 10, we have Diamond Round, boys. Party Hat,
Oh,
Yelps,
lucky.
Kizaj,
Ooh.
Zulra, and Virago. Christ.
Kizar Jizzer.
Kizaj has to
also
be
because
taken.
not enough gold.
Yeah.
I think Kizaj, no one's going to debate that.
Man, I'm just too troll apparently. I was gonna,
Well, I think
I was just like, yeah, we'll take Zulra because we have that Dragon Longsword.
Zulra into Yelps or Party Hat. Oh my god, all the gold.
Oh wow.
I think Yelps
I
makes
think
the most
Zulra
sense.
into Party Hat so that way you discard this terrible Zulra scales.
I mean, do we have any way of reaching into Virago at the minute? The only thing we've got is
D
a
long,
Dragon
but then
Longsword.
you're kind of replacing it with a D long.
I
Like, what's the point?
I think Yelps is the.
Yeah, Yelps is probably the only pick. Yeah,
because you're only at 12 gold right now, and I don't feel like in the next 5 rounds you're gonna get so much more. And we have a lot of support cards.
So round 11 is Varric Museum, Living Rock Brawler, Obsidian Golem, Drunken Pirate, and obviously I've taken Ali Morisan.
Alright, so we have one card to choose from here.
Yeah, I don't know if we go for Drunken Pirate again for more grief, or if we go for Varric Museum just for the extra little bit of gold, but I don't think we actually need that.
I don't think we need the gold anymore.
So I think we go Drunken
just
Pirate.
Yelps, but
Yeah, definitely Drunken Pirate here.
Yeah, makes sense.
I mean, you could even possibly look towards a Rock Brawler there, but.
Oh,
I
we've got
think
another
Pirate
diamond round, boys.
is-
wow.
Round 12.
Getting lucky.
Bilrak, Tetsu Katana,
Bilrak.
Certification,
Bilrak.
Zulra, and Char.
Bilrak.
Well, I know GameGrime's thoughts.
Well, to be fair, go on, talk us through Bill, because you've been using it a lot, haven't you?
I love Bilrak. He's so good though. Like when you play like in constructed, Bilrak is still just so great to play it on like chapter 1 when your opponent is just minding their own business, trying to get like a little bit of gold or anything. Just it's so good when you get like a Kale into Bilrak or like a Sergeant Slimetoes in constructed. Anyways, this is Dungeoneering, so I don't recommend
Tetsu
it.
Katana into Bilrak.
Tetsu.
Oh,
Definitely.
yeah, I think Tetsu's
The
a
Tetsu's a
guaranteed
definite
pick.
pick for this one.
Yeah.
You could get Zulra now because Tetsu is 8 attack. So we could
We
do
don't
Zulra
need Zulra.
or
Stop.
Certification.
Certification's good.
I mean,
I'm actually
could-
I'm an advocate for Bilrak as well. I think it's a great card.
I mean,
But-
you could even Tetsu into
Are
Charm.
we going to kill Bill Rack, though?
Tetsu
With the
or
Tetsu.
D-Long.
Or Dragon Longsword.
Both work. The thing that I have the problem with is we're griefing them, so chances are they're going to take a lot of damage, which means Bilrak's probably going to heal you to about 5 HP. So that's
Don't take
probably not a
Bilrak.
good combo. So
By
I
the
think
time
Certification is
by
probably
the
the best
time
pick here.
Bilrak gets good for you, like by the time you can actually kill Bilrak, your opponent it'll no longer be worth. It'll be
Yeah.
like, oh, you're gonna lose too much health, or you're gonna use up your weapon durability on Bilrak instead of using it on something useful at the time.
Yeah, I don't think we have that many big, like, monster. Well, we have none. Dust Devil's the biggest, and I'm willing to take 2 hits off that. So I don't think the 2 AP is necessarily going to be amazing. I think the one we have from Kizaj is going to put us into a good enough position if it gets to the final fight. So Certifi's probably the best pick here.
Yeah, Certification there.
Yeah,
Certification.
that's what it is. Yeah, Certification.
Okay, that's
Uh,
actually.
Or apparently, we got informed on one podcast that all of the White Knights are called things like that. So
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
You've got Ceramic Vase Certification.
Yeah.
There's quite a few.
it's good. But round 13, we have a Goblin Trickster, another Meg, Dr. Fenkenstrain, Work Order, and Greater Demon. And
Work Order
with
has to
Grabat
be
Longsword and the
taken.
other 5 weapons we have, Work Order is actually really good.
Yeah.
So that's taken. I quite like Goblin Trickster here. I don't know. You can have a discussion between yourselves because
I
I
wanna
could
say-
take anything here.
Well, Goblin Trickster is really good for if you're facing off an area and you just slam it down and hope you get like one of the spell books if she drafts it.
It's also, good against
but,
Linza.
like, running it in a running Dr. Frankenstrain in a grief deck is actually really nice because like sometimes they'll take like the 1 auto attack from like a KGP or something like that. So like this is an extra 3 attack to the next creature, which is pretty good on the grief deck. But I like at this point we are really late in and we have like only 1 attack removal so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So-
we could do with some more Dust Devils.
Yeah.
We've only got
some
2 more
dust
rounds and one of them's going to be Diamond, so I don't know if that's going to be a...
Come on,
Okay,
double Dust
well-
Devil. Double Dust Devil.
I don't know.
I don't mind taking either of the top 3. I don't really want to take another Meg. Frankenstein also gives you 3 gold. It's just whether or not Goblin Trickster can remove their big enough weapons and stuff. Like, as Wolves just said in the chat, it removes either Fury, Tetsu Katana, or their books, and they're 3 massive game-winning cards. So
I think we've also got enough gold in the deck, so I don't
Yeah.
think drawing too much gold is that necessary. So I
Yeah.
think the
I'd go
equipment
Trickster.
removal would be quite useful.
I do like Faker's Trade, but I always forget about its effect on my minions, so I think I'm
Yeah.
more likely to
Probably the
take...
safer pick not to take
Trickster.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go for
Yeah.
Trickster then. Oh, round 14. We have Black Arm Bandit, Mimic, Rock Golem, Ice Warrior, and Ali Morisan. I'm pretty sure we had this pick before. Ali Morisan, Ice Warrior,
Yeah,
anyone?
it likes to redo picks a lot, I find.
Ali Morisan, Ice
like-
Warrior, I think is pretty much the right pick here, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to take
It's
that.
a shame we've got so many weapons and not a lot to use them on.
Yeah.
Well, we have a lot of durability weapons. Too bad we didn't.
Oh,
take,
we have something to use a weapon on, boys.
The weapon hurler.
Round 15.
Yeah.
Kizaj Tournament, Yelps, Tessu Katana, Virago, and Char. I'm not against taking Char.
At this point, it feels like we can grab Char and maybe a Tetsu Katana. Like, that would mean we have a better draw of it and it can't get griefed as much. Like, you know, like removing equipment from a Trickster. Like, it'll only hit one of the Tetsus, I think.
Yeah.
Or other items in our deck because, you know, I forget sometimes. So Tetsu into Char could actually be pretty good. I mean, that's only 4
Tetsu,
base attack.
Kizaj, and Char are the only 3 I'm actually considering here. I don't think Virago is
think-
good enough.
Yeah,
I
we don't
think
need
that's-
we don't need double.
No, we don't
goals.
need more
Kizad,
gold.
Kizad's Tetsu, yeah.
Char is like only 4 base attack for
Char's
up
okay.
to 15 damage. I mean,
I don't
I
know.
don't
I
like
think
it.
with our goal, I think it'd be better to have Kizaj and
Yeah.
Tetsu.
Glenn, like I've noticed in the ladder, quite often you purposely tank a Jad, like to take the 15 to.
Well,
this is not good.
I don't think it's gonna bring us
Oh,
any
hello.
benefit.
Oh, we're good.
Yep, we're back. Tetsu and Kizaj, I think, is going to be it.
Yeah.
And that's going to conclude.
Yeah, I think it's probably the
draft.
safest pick.
So we just scroll through the draft briefly, and I want predictions on how we're going to go. We're going to go with Glenn to start off with.
I'm gonna go 5 and 3. We haven't done enough. We haven't got enough Dust Devils and Karams.
Yeah, I think I agree on that one. It's a shame, really. Tank.
Yeah, it was looking good.
Yeah, like I say, we had the setup, but we didn't kind of get the end with it. So I'm gonna say, who's playing it, by the way? Is it Glenn
Me.
or Ryan?
No, it's Ryan.
I'd give 5-3.
GameGrime.
Yeah, it doesn't like just looking at we have 7 health heal and
Yeah, we also have a
4
stack of sharks,
armor,
don't we? And
and we have a stack
certification.
of
And
sharks.
Certifi. And
Yeah.
and
Certifi.
certificate
And repurpose. We can
repurpose.
survive.
And we have all the we have enough stuff
And
to
you put-
actually make us survive, but I don't feel like this deck is going to be one to get to the final fight because we have enough gold gain now to actually get the 2 Tetsus.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I
with
think
double Kizad,
I
just have
think
set
we'll
up
break
full base.
even, so like 7 wins and then 3 losses. Like I usually find that even on a bad deck, I can get to 7 wins in a dungeoneering run. So even on a bad deck, but that's myself. So I don't know how well you guys do in dungeoneering.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with 6 and 3. I think it's a good deck, but I don't think it's quite got the entire follow through that we needed to kind of win at the end. I'm
Yeah, you're
hoping,
kind of relying on being second and getting the Tetsu Katana
Yeah.
into the final fight ungriefed.
being able to survive and just smash him in the face a few times with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also think that one strong point of this deck is it's actually going to survive quite well with even 1 base attack. There's no, the highest health we have is a Dust Devil.
No, really? Oh, really?
But yeah, that's I think concludes the Dungeoneering run. Wow, I just got absolutely wrecked in the chat by YX. So
Oh, 3.
he asked who. He said who will play this deck. Glenn put Ryan, and he put 03. No, GG. So I think that concludes the end of the Dungeoneering part of the podcast, and we're going to move on. Thanks for all your predictions, guys. They are going to be noted and stored. But we're going to move on to the game changes, and this week there was only really one, and that was Steam.
Quite a big one, to be fair.
It's a huge one. But the game is now on Steam. I've got a little screenshot on the screen. It was popular new releases #1 for a while. Obviously, mine's greyed out it says in library, but yeah, it's actually on Steam. It's free to play. You can use Steam currency to buy Platinum, can you?
Yeah.
I haven't tried it
so
yet.
It had some issues with it, but we were in contact with the mods again through Discord, and they're like, okay, the issue should be resolved now, so go ahead and buy your Platinum through the Steam wallet. Like, sell your CSGO skins and just get all the Platinum. Yeah, you know how it works.
Perfect. But yeah, this game being on Steam is actually a huge move for the game. And I know I was looking earlier, it was on 1.5k players in game, and I know that is a massive increase to what it used to be on. Obviously, we didn't know numbers for a while, but it's grown. It's 1,430 at the minute as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been great seeing all the new players reviewing the game, saying it's a great game and they love it. Obviously, you've got the troll people saying Hearthstone rip-off, etc., etc. We've also had a massive new influx of people saying First is OP, so that's also fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always fun to deal with on the forums.
But they released another graph.
With over 3 million games worth of data.
Yeah.
I found
so close.
Yeah. I mean, you can see there's the one graph that Merchant posted on Reddit. I think it was like 4,600 or 46,000 games.
Yeah.
Or 43,000, and those 13 games, it confirms 13 games won on first turn. So there you go.
Yeah.
13 game difference. I think that confirms first turn is OP in, well, that number. I don't know how to do.
I actually got to ruin your life because it was actually 11, not 13.
Was it 11?
Yeah.
It's even closer than that.
It's even closer than that. I was just, trying to remember. I'm sorry I got the number wrong.
But yeah, like, the game is completely balanced as shown. They showed us the ridiculously high graphs with over 3 million games and stuff like that from mid-April onwards, and that was very even. I think it was a few thousand games in millions. So that's insane. But the game being on Steam as a general is a massive, a huge success story for the Jagex guys, and well done to them. We know we were talking to them at the very start, Glenn, that we knew this was their goal from the get-go. They always wanted on Steam, and they managed to do it, and it seems to be doing quite well.
And I know tonight they're all going out and getting very, very, very drunk because the Steam release coincides with the Cambridge Beer Festival.
Oh. That was definitely not a coincidence. They did that 100% on purpose. Come on, guys, let's go out and get hammered to celebrate. But yeah,
so
it's been
just looking at the numbers right now for one of the things that they came out with on Steam is the achievements, and I personally like to sometimes 100% some games for the Steam achievements. And not being a hacker or anything while using the Steam Achievement Manager to get it, they actually have the numbers of people who have achieved certain points in the game, and 93.8% of the players that played on Steam have completed the tutorial. So
wow,
it's like, okay, that's 6%. Can't even get past the login screen. So maybe we don't want them here. I don't know.
It's up to 98.8% now. I've just checked.
Was it what? Mine says 93. Oh wow, it's 98.8 now. Okay. Well then, those players have just finished it right now. That's really weird. Apparently, it's easy as Raptor to get enough armor to get tough as nails, which is only 10 armor. 6% are actually retarded interjection. Okay. So there's some achievements that I feel like is not supposed to be in the achievement list, because sure, it's technically an achievement. As a collector myself, I like to get almost 100% of the achievements in this game, and the one that makes me really upset is called Diamonds Are Forever. It's restricting. It's an achievement that is restricting you to how skilled, how top tier player of you. It's just I can't see myself grinding out. I'm stuck in silver right now, at the top of silver. I don't see myself getting through gold, through platinum, into diamond. Like, it's like that is not an achievement that should be happening for players that want to casually get 100%. Like, I mean, you can casually get 500 games in any mode, like the achievement crush all who oppose, but casually getting diamonds are forever is close to impossible.
Yeah, you have to be a serious player and actually try to try and do
like
that.
I just don't feel like that should have been an achievement. Like, I see, like, oh yeah, you have achieved getting diamond, like, look at you. But like, as a person that wants to get achievements, that doesn't seem like one where it's good for me. Like, I see it's like, yeah, it's great for the point. How many players that have it so far?
0.3, I think.
Diamonds are
0.4%
of the players of this game have diamonds are forever. So like the top 0.4% is just like, it's annoying as a player to actually have that as an achievement. And I found out, like, when they said it as, like, on the stream when they were doing this Steam, like, saying all the achievement lists, like, diamond are forever, it's like, that's a major problem for someone that wants to, like, say, I want to 100% the game. Like, I don't feel like I'm gonna ever get to diamond.
You're gonna have to seriously commit and invest, I think,
a
lot of time,
like,
if not money, to get there.
I'll be getting the achievement called Crush Everyone Who Oppose, which is 500 games in every mode before I even get close to Diamonds Are Forever.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'll get the achievement that only 0.3% have instead of the one that 0.4 have. Like, it's just like, that achievement is going to be almost impossible for me to get.
I kind of agree. At the same time, it is a huge achievement in the game, and being able to hit diamond.
It's a huge achievement.
I think it's kind of compares, because obviously Hearthstone doesn't have achievements, but you get the card back for hitting Legend. So I think it's almost the same, but there's a lot of people that play Hearthstone that want to collect all the card backs, because obviously there's loads, you get a new one each season, etc, etc. So they will all try and get all the card backs, and I think it's exactly the same sense in that for the casual player like myself, I get up to around rank 10 every season, and I'm happy with that. I never try to really push for Legend, but if I wanted to get each card back, I have to, and it's kind of, I don't know, it feels like it's forcing me to want to no-life it, and that's a bit off-putting to me.
But is that not the point of achievement? That, like, at least one or two of them are, you have to put in a lot of effort to get, and you get the gratitude for achieving them.
I agree with putting in a lot of effort in single-player games. Like, this is reliant entirely on other people, because obviously you play against other people in card games. So, like, you can invest a lot of time and effort and still not get it. Like, I could invest 10 times as much time and effort as Glenn, and if I just get unlucky a few times, I'm not going to get that achievement ever. Whereas, if you're playing something that's single-player and you want to get one of the achievements, just finish the game in the hardest difficulty or whatever, eventually, over time, you're going to memorize patterns and stuff like that, and you're going to be able to do it. It's nothing really skill-based. It's just ends up being memory, muscle memory, and you can kind of work out how you're meant to do the level without necessarily being as skilled. So it's a rough achievement to try and get, sure, but I think if you're really that committed to try and get 100%, you'll do it.
Yeah. Like, I still find myself, I do want to get into Diamond.
Yeah.
Like, I like, it's like, okay, well, I have to do it for this achievement. I also have to do it because, I mean, like, it's a climb, but I'm a closed beta player. I can figure out how to actually play the game on the ladder a little bit better than your average player. So, I mean, I see myself actually getting close to getting that achievement, but it's just, I don't know if that is the correct way to do it. At least they didn't put broken achievements in there, like play a game against one of the developers, like that. There was a game, like there was Trials HD that had the Trials HD had play a game against a developer, and like after 3 months there was nothing there. See, like you couldn't get that achievement, so you could never 100% the game.
About potentially adding one of those in.
Yeah.
Like
if not achievement, I think they wanted it to be a title, didn't they, rather than an achievement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no other games in the past have done similar things. I know, like my first example that comes to my head is FIFA 09, was play against an win a game against an EA developer. But the thing is, it also counted if you beat someone that had that achievement, which was quite good because obviously if load of you beat the achievements, it then virused out and you'd win a game and get the achievement. And I think if they were going to add something like that, they have to make it like that. Beat someone who's either a developer or has this title.
Yeah.
And I think that would be fine. Because
for any type of game like this, though, that has a ladder, I feel like most people who play it, who are obviously you get people who just come on it, play a couple of games a day just for the fun of it, but most people want to play it competitively. That's why the leaderboards are there, and that's what keeps most people going. So having achievements like that, obviously, it's something you have to work for. But I feel like when you get there, it's that sense of achievement. I mean, like a lot of people play games. Sorry, go on.
At the same point, if you get that achievement, like you have card backs that show that you're diamond. So like 100%ing the game, like achievements shouldn't be related to like getting 75 armor in a game or 150 gold. Like that's not required. But like getting diamond is just like, oh well, you get a card back and other rewards like that. So like, what's the point in giving an achievement on Steam that like you actually track it by having card backs or with this random achievement on Steam? Like it just doesn't make much sense. Other than you can track how many people actually have it. I'm just a little upset by it's an achievement that went through.
I also think that over time that achievement's going to be more and more common. As more people get into Diamond, it's going to, hopefully the climb is going to be quite easy, and you're going to be able to just kind of fly up and get straight in with no problems, because all the Diamond people will be playing against each other, and yeah.
Vexy's just mentioned a potential achievement. Play specifically against Merchant with the voice chat and win without being persuaded by his voice.
Well,
that is an achievement. That's unachievable.
Chat.
You can't do that.
That's more unachievable than the Diamonds Are Forever achievement. But we need a voice chat for it.
Hopefully that's coming. Or some sort of chat anyway.
I don't think voice chat will come in, but I think having a friend-to-friend private chat or something like that will come in, because what Hearthstone has is Battle.net, and that has the whole whisper system across games. This one can't really link up with RuneScape, so you can't really message people on RuneScape through Chronicle because, well, the system doesn't exist. But yeah. I feel like also when they put it on Steam, they put it out a little early. Like,
I think I agree.
It doesn't have a card history. It doesn't have a spectator mode. There's some small little quality of life features that should have been in the game on release instead of patched in later.
Yeah, I agree.
At least they got the ranked mode.
I've said for a while.
You do have a chat system as well on Steam as well, which is kind of bridging the gap slightly where people can communicate now through that.
Not really, because you have to find them on Steam and then add them as a friend, and sometimes you don't want these people on your friends list, you just want to be able to talk to them. So, I don't know, it's okay, but I've always said that I feel like they've almost got a bit excited with everything. So when they had the hiatus between closed and open beta, I feel like that could have been a little bit longer, because when open beta came out, I don't think we even had dungeoneering. So, and that's quite a big part of the game for some people that didn't want to play the game properly. So I feel like they almost got a bit excited, like, quick, get out, and they got permission off Steam, and it feels like they just wanted to get out there as quick as they can, rather than maybe making sure it's almost feature complete before they do it. But hey ho, it's done now. Like, we can't go back on it. But overall, I think the Steam release is definitely a big positive for the game. Looking at the reviews, there's some people on there that we've never seen before. Like your boy Chin Chin has left a review. 9 out of 10.
Sorry, what?
Yeah. His review says 9 out of 10, pretty good game. Edit, 10 out of 10, great game. The more I play, the more fun I have. Brilliantly addictive twist on card games. And I think that's the kind of overwhelming review that's been given by a lot of people. Obviously, the top review is recommended buying girlfriend. So But that's
I'm the one right under that.
The one right under that is you, GameGrime, Interjection.
Oh yeah.
But a lot of people are loving this game, and it's great to see, especially with the big numbers that it's drawn in. Hopefully, me and Glenn are going to be pushing for more people in the Open League, and hopefully we can do that. That'd be great to see. But yeah, I don't think there was any other game changes really, like little quality of life things like cards spinning. Apparently, that was added without anyone's
Yeah, I
knowledge.
didn't even know about that.
I think voiceovers changed as well. Character voices with the
Yeah.
Steam release.
But like, I'm looking forward to the future. In terms of game changers, the only ones we really want are the big ones now. So I feel like now they've got it out on Steam, they can concentrate on adding the tournament mode. They can concentrate on spectator, and I hope that's coming soon because it would make the league so much more fun. I'd love to be able to live cast some of the games on the league, but unfortunately the way it's set up at the minute, people have to be able to stream or record, and send it. It's just too awkward. So with spectator mode, it would just make the whole competitive scene, I think, 10 times better.
Yeah.
But yeah, what else they wanted to add? Spectator mode, tournament mode. They want to add chat of some sort.
Chat, yeah.
I don't know if they're still working on a solo player campaign. That was
I
obviously
think they will
an
do
old
at some
thing,
point.
but
Yeah,
I
they
don't
will
know
at
if
some
that's
point.
coming. Obviously,
I think
Morvran, the one I completely forgot about.
No, the one thing that definitely needs to come in is card history.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is also a huge one.
Especially to a lot of people who are coming into this game from other card games that already have that. When they can see that it's missing, that can be a big turn off for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it would also help when I'm just playing and not really concentrating, doing something else on the other screen, and then I turn back and I was like, how the hell has he got that much gold? Or how am I nearly dead?
Why am I at 5 HP all of a sudden? What is this? Am I facing Odin?
Or which spellbook did he play?
Yeah, that's the main one.
It's always awkward when you like look away for a split second, look back, and the whole game's turned on its head. Like, what the?
Yeah.
What did I just miss? Did he play a new card I've never seen before? But yeah, like especially for new players, the new players coming in trying to learn the cards. At the minute, it's almost as if you have to have the cards to know them, because you get a split second to see them on the screen before they're gone, and you're like, okay, I don't really know what that did. Why did it do that? What did it reward him with? And oh shit, good game. So if they had a card history, I think a lot of new players would probably stick around. I think a few players probably would have dropped out because of mainly that feature. Obviously the game's great and whatever, and we love it, but that is actually huge to a new player. So yeah, hopefully they concentrate on adding that soon. Also, I want more Morvran, just saying.
It will be interesting to see how he changes the game. Changes the mix of exactly what's happening in the meta.
Well, the stats we had from the last Chronicle League, the win rates for all the legends were basically 50%. Like, it was like 1 point something percent separate them all. And I would love to see if Morvran comes in and completely ruins that. Because it's going to be a really... As they add more and more legends, because obviously they've always said they wanted up to 8, it's going to be more and more difficult to balance it upon initial release. And I feel like they're either going to make Morvran completely underpowered or completely too OP, and it's going to have to be nerfed. If they can get it spot on, I'll be very surprised. But yeah,
it's a difficult thing to do, balancing.
I think.
I mean, with some cards, there's like a lot of us in the community like to think, oh yeah, we know how to perfectly balance these cards, but a lot of the time we come up with completely different ideas. So it just shows how hard it is to get it right.
Yeah. I think we'll move on to talking about card changes, and as it hasn't been any, I just wanted to kind of bring up a little bit of a discussion about maybe some diamond cards that people perceive as broken. So we won't be touching Kizaj, we won't be touching Kale because they've been talked about before. Virago's obviously been changed, etc. But the first one I wanted to talk about and just get your two's opinions on, because me and Glenn talked about it before, is Black Knight Titan. So, GameGrime, do you want to kick us off?
That's a really awkward card. The Black Knight Titan is a really awkward card because it's like strong, but at the same time, like it works when you play in an attack powered deck. Like, I mean, it's a full out counter to anyone that has a weapon, like full on. Even if your weapon has like 20 durability, it's a 100% counter to it. So that's a little annoying when you like it shuts down an entire play style. And then it strikes them with their own weapon. So when you start getting a high damage weapon, like on a weapon Linza, and it just ruins it, because then you just take like upwards to, I've seen somebody take 15 damage from their own weapon, and then if you couple that, the Black Knight Titan, into a attack power gain deck, you strike them with your base attack. Like, it doesn't need the extra strike of the weapon. Like, Black Knight Titan to me should be he's got a big weapon, I'm gonna remove his weapon and have him strike himself with the weapon, but I don't get a strike. Like, it's like, I don't want to get that extra bonus. I can sometimes get 15 damage from my strike added onto it, because that's just like, that's extra damage. That's like a double strike, and the double strike cards turn out so well when you see Tokash. Like double strike cards shouldn't be a thing, and Black Knight Titan is just a double strike card hidden in a whole different rewording to me.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people agree with you on it's very, very strong. Almost too strong. In terms of, I think, legend balancing, they've done a really good job, and the only cards that feel a little bit imbalanced right now are neutrals, so they go in any deck, which I think is perfect. Like, a lot of the cards that people thought were completely batshit broken, they've seem to be better. But yeah, BKT's an odd one. A lot of people have different opinions. What do you think about it, Tank?
I agree with GameGrime, to be honest. I think it does take skill to snipe a weapon's opponent, so obviously striking them with their weapon and removing is good, but I think, like you say, if you just kill it and they don't have a weapon, it shouldn't strike, because that's just a free punching them in the face for nothing. You kind of got the thing which is, sorry, the dog's gone crazy, is pretty basic. You can play it chapter 5 final spot if you're turn 2, and you're more than likely to hit one, but I think it does still take a bit of skill to snipe out a weapon, so the weapon removal with a strike is good, but not the strike, even if the weapon's not there.
My other problem with it is, it's literally remove a weapon. Like, if a Linza gets upwards of like 6 durability, to be able to just squash the weapon that quick is just insane. And I know your dog thinks exactly the same. So.
Your dog has got a very strong opinion on Black Knight Titan.
He's not a fan of it.
Let's see if his opinion is the same of Redbeard Frank. Because this is a card I've always said I hate Redbeard Frank completely. But obviously me and Glenn have talked about it again in the past. So GameGrime and Tank, I'd like to know your thoughts, because I know GameGrime, you play Goldzan a little bit. You've dabbled
a little bit.
You've beaten Crip with it.
Yeah, I played against Kriparian when he was streaming, and I beat him with Goldzan because, like, at that point he wasn't losing with his Raptor deck, so I needed to teach him a thing or two about Chronicle and like the whole closed beta, what you would see, and like, yeah. So Frank, I don't think cards that like exist, like, I don't think remove all of something really needs, like, there has to be a limiter on that. So like, it works when you have 4 gold and it works when you have 200 gold. Like, where's the point where it's like Frank is actually a bad card to play?
It's not.
There's like
ever.
no down, like I mean, you could even play Frank when your rival has 0 gold because it gives you 2 cards. So it's like
stupid.
There needs to be a point where it's like, okay, if your rival is going insane with the gold or insane with the weapon attack or insane with the armor, remove all of it because you are greedy.
I don't know how you balance it, apart from the card draw. Obviously, I don't think it should have card draw at all. It doesn't make any sense. But Frank,
I'm not gonna lie. The first
gold.
Week or so I used Frank. I didn't even realize it drew.
Yeah.
Like, so like, there's no reason for it to.
It's just stupid because even with 3 base, you only take 8 damage to completely ruin their life.
I think the thing that you got to do remember, it is a diamond, so you're only limited to one of them in the deck, so it does need to be like slightly better than other cards. Now, I don't think it needs a card draw, but I think removing all the gold is a good thing because, like I say, if you're against a Goldzan and they've got past 20, 30 gold, removing X amount isn't going to do much. I think having a card which can remove all of something is worthwhile. or you kind of do a bit of a compromise and you remove X amount of gold and perhaps leave a bit of card draw. So maybe draw one card whilst removing 5-10 gold, perhaps.
It's just an awkward card to balance because people play gold tank completely differently, and you can't make it hard to remove any gold. Like, I don't think that's really possibility there. Drawing cards just doesn't make sense. So if you're going to remove all gold, I just think you make it do more damage to you. The one I suggested a few weeks ago was like take 8 damage, remove all rivals gold. It's a pirate. Like, it takes all your gold. It should probably have to do something to take your gold. Therefore, it hits you. It shouldn't give you some cards and then go, here, I'll just take all your gold. Because then it becomes Redbeard Trader. Like, you've effectively bought 2 card draw. So, I don't know. It needs definite rework because it's just an instant include in any deck that runs 3 AP, which is most decks these days. It's just really, really good.
I like YX's suggestion. Remove 87% of rivals gold plus 4.
Very specific.
And also the other one, remove all gold from rival and buy 2,000 platinum ingots.
I like the red reset Frank. Remove all armor, set both players to 30 HP, set both players to 1 attack, remove weapon, remove all gold. That's pretty good. Red reset Frank. I think that would be pretty good card. So if the game's not going well for you and it's going real well, you just slam it down and reset the game.
Can you imagine slamming that down chapter 5 slot 4, so the rest of the game's just been a complete waste of time.
Oh.
But then you would lose.
Yeah, you would lose because first turn OP. It all comes back around.
But yeah, that's, I guess, Redbeard Frank and their take on it. The next one is, I don't know, Morwenna, I think, is probably the next to see a little bit of a change. I just think it's a bit more of a, like, Fern's bad, and Morwenna's just a little bit better. So
I like Morwenna in her current state. I mean, I've played a lot of grief decks and I've always prioritized them. I think Fern was nerfed too hard personally.
It was brutal.
So I think, with Fern, because what's it now? It's 4/5 and add 3 health.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they could either add 1 extra health to your opponent's creature, or bring Fern back down to a 4/3, or possibly even a 4/4. But I like Morwenna where it is, because, like I say, with now people not using Fern, apart from specific cards like Wizard Trayborn or Cedrador, there's very little grief. And I think against with many AP heavy decks and very greedy decks as well, with the Venescula and the Raptor, grief's needed just to slow them down. So I think Morwenna is actually in quite a nice state.
Okay, GameGrime, do you have an opinion?
Well, I mean, there isn't actually a lot of interaction that you see right now in the current meta. Like, the only interaction that you would see is aggro Ozan, which gets really stale once you see it like the 4th or 5th time. So, like, I see, like, Morwenna as you're interacting with your opponent, and it is pretty good, but it doesn't need to deal, like, it's, what is it, a 2/2, is it?
Morwenna, I think so.
Yeah.
2/2, yeah.
Yeah, it's a 2/2, but it also deals damage to your opponent, and it adds health to the next monster. Now, it's a Fern, and it's a weaker Fern, but also, is it? I don't know if it's weaker or not.
It's a better Fern.
It's a much better Fern.
It's a better Fern for the amount of health that it adds, and then it also deals damage. So it's a Scorpion at the same time. So, like, it's 2 cards in 1, but it's still a 2/2. So it's really easy to kill. So, like, it doesn't need to deal damage, in my opinion, but it can still add health.
If you make it a 3/3, or you remove its guaranteed damage, I'm pretty sure it makes it a much better card.
I think removing the 2 damage would be a fair nerf. But again, that's back to the points where, if we're going to make everything balanced, what's the point in having diamonds? Because they need to be slightly better because you only have the 1 of them.
I was going to bring that up. I don't think cards should be inherently OP if they're diamonds. The way they balanced Tetsu Katana was, let's just make it a diamond. And then you can only run 1 of them. But if you actually look at Tetsu, it's so strong, even still.
Really good.
It's an 8-3 weapon and 6 gold, especially with Dwarven Miner, is so easy to get. You can just double alley or some gold gain into Dwarven Miner, and there you go, you've got a Tactics Hand. It's an 8-3 weapon. It's absolutely huge. And the way they balanced it was, let's not make it a ruby so you can run 2, let's just make it a diamond and make it cost less. I don't think that's a good way to balance anything in the future. Could you imagine you end up with a game that's just top heavy with diamonds because they made a few quite good cards? Yeah, it's just, for me, Morwenna should be, like, again, I always bring this up, I think diamonds should have unique effects that almost seem like quests, where you have to kind of do something to activate the effect, and like, it's just, Morwenna seems a bit, let me just slam this down because I'm not going to take any damage. I'm going to deal 2 guaranteed. Maybe deal like another 14 if it hits a Crassian. Good game. Like, it just doesn't seem like a very well thought out card, I think is more the point.
They're, like, you go and building off of that, like you saying diamonds should have some sort of uniqueness to it. Like, if you look at Bilrak, that seems like, to me, my favorite diamond card, because it has this special effect of I'm gonna, like, it's a massively high health and a massive high damage card, but it has the special effect of you're gonna set your health to match rivals' health, so there's almost no, like, it's so good, it feels so good to play.
Yeah, when it hits and you heal back up to 30, it's just like, oh my god, that was insane.
It feels like a good diamond. Now, if you look at Kale, it doesn't feel like a unique diamond. If you look at Morwenna, it doesn't feel unique. If you look at Lady Zaya,
it's fun.
Lady Zaya is sort of unique. It's strong, but unique. Tokash, unique. Like, there's diamonds need to have a unique setting, so you don't have to run it because it's overpowered, but it just combos into your deck. Like, you don't want to run only one diamond card and have it as your second win condition. Like, oh, I have this first win condition as Aggro in, and then I run random Pirate Hideout and Lady Zaya to have the second random win condition. No, that's not a balanced diamond card. I want to have unique conditions on my diamond
I completely agree with the unique part. Vampire Power is a good example. You don't have another effect in the game that increases your max health. It's a really fun card. It's hard to get. It's good when it works. Same with Bilrak. Like, there's a lot of good diamonds that have been really well made and have a unique effect. Kale and Morwenna just feel like, here's another weapon draw, here's another little bit of...
The way I use Kale is basically, it's to make me make my deck more consistent at drawing a Slime Toes weapon. Yeah. Like, most of the time, I use it as if it was a Slime Toes weapon. So it kind of defeats the whole point of it being a diamond.
Yeah, Kale is just not unique. Like, it's, if a diamond card is strictly better than a general or another card available, then it doesn't feel like unique to me. Like, so like, I that would pretty much have to redo like half of the diamonds out there, but Papa Mambo, that's unique. You run potions and then it puts everything up by 4. That's awesome. Like, that's a great diamond card.
The other one that's
really
insanely
cool
play,
to run.
Wise Old Meme, great card, just a bit expensive. Honestly, we've talked about this before, if it cost 4 or 5 gold, it would actually probably see play, because people would be playing RyanN completely differently. You might actually see Unholy Curse Bearers. You might see things that you just otherwise wouldn't see with RyanN. And that's what I think is good about Wise Old Meme. It has that unique effect of being able to just squash a few minions in a row. It's just too expensive for what it does at the minute. But yeah, I think diamonds definitely need some sort of effect.
There could be a diamond overhaul, and as long as it isn't something like Ogre Brute version 3 for all the diamonds, like, I mean, as long as the diamond overhaul is, well thought out and they take into account other cards when they make them, then like, I would see a diamond overhaul being amazing for this game, because like, it would bring so much to saying, I got Kale, look at what I can do with this now that, like, I can run it in this deck I can completely base off a deck around Kale or something like that. Like, a random or an effect that is unique to a diamond card that you don't see anywhere else.
I think you just need to be careful with diamonds as well, that they're not all based towards late games, because obviously you've got a lot of big diamond game changing towards the end. You've got a kind of your Redbeard, your Black Knight Titan, your Virago, your Court Beast, all those. But having kind of the cards such as Kale, which is kind of a more early to mid game card, I'd say, I think you kind of need a nice balance throughout the game as well. So you've got to be careful not to remove all of them and make them average cards.
So for Kale, I like the effect that Suki first suggested. Like, he was the first one to suggest it, and I know it's been quite a popular opinion throughout the community. And that's, it gives you a 4/2 weapon support card that's free, but it also gives you like 2 temporary attack. So you can use Kale into something, but you also get that weapon. But the opponent knows it's there, so they can play weapon removal. You can't just bank on a random Kale giving them a 4/2 weapon. Like, sometimes the worst players on the game will play it in a certain way, and I've won games based upon the first chap that I know is going to play Kale this slot. Good game, I've won because you just tanked the Sentinel and stuff like that. Like, it shouldn't be so random. I feel like the 4/2 weapon that costs 0 is a really good change, and that's actually quite unique. You have nothing that gives you a weapon at the minute, so I don't know. I think Diamond Overhaul is definitely needed, but no matter what they do, people are going to complain.
They can't make the right decision here. Like, there will always be someone you upset.
Yeah. That's it.
Considering that Kale is also so expensive to craft, you're going to see people saying, give me my shards back after I just crafted it or something like that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they crafted it week 1.
If they can get that system going, there's not a problem. Like, there won't be anyone. No, you can't complain because you just literally, you get your shards back and then you go and craft whatever
if you find
want.
that it's actually still strong, you can just make it again. Like, if, like, I don't know, like if it's like a 10% loss or something like that, if you decide to actually get rid of a nerfed card.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I
find that, like, I make a commitment when I craft a diamond card, and I'm making the commitment to keep it. So, like, all these people asking for, hey, can you make it so it's cheaper for me to get my card back after you nerf it? Well, it sucks, but that's how it works. You made this strong card, it was overly strong, you probably knew it was coming, so that's your commitment to spend that much.
I was going to say, my opinion of that is that you've had an advantage by using this broken card.
Yeah.
So,
like, I made Virago on the last week when they said they were going to nerf it, and I'm like, well, I can't really compare, so I'm going to make Virago, and then I'm going to accept that as a loss. Like, I'm okay with accepting losing out Virago because they're going to be nerfing him. Like,
and still, Virago is a good card.
It's still a good card, but now that the meta has actually shifted away from Ogre Brute exhausting you, so you can actually play high attack power decks, Virago has come back. So, like, I still, like, it's a commitment where it's like, okay, well, maybe it'll pay off because the meta will shift to make it still good. So.
There's the people that annoy me are the people that pack diamonds and then complain when they get nerfed. Like, you didn't put any investment into that. You got a randomly drawn card out of a pack, and now you're complaining. Like, seriously? Just, I don't know.
I understand.
I think they need to fit the refund system as soon as they can, and then just completely overhaul a few of them because they're just quite boring.
I think the only other thing we could talk about, kind of going back to balancing a card, is what Goth mentioned on a minute ago, which is the aggro feature, which they're bringing in, the aggressive feature, which is where they strike you first. So that could possibly be a fix for the Kale, perhaps making it so it strikes you first.
Maybe.
And then you still get the weapon straight away.
I don't know. I don't know if that's going to make it too underpowered, because you might be willing to take that just to go into something like a Cully, which is going to heal you back up to full, and then you can use the weapon into something that you can kill. Like, I don't know.
A 4 damage.
It doesn't feel like the 4 damage is actually that big. But yeah, I guess that kind of wraps up what we wanted to talk about for card balances. I think we kind of summed it up with the fact that the refund system needs to be in, and they just need to kind of grab a few of the diamonds that feel a bit either boring or overpowered and make changes. That way they can have peace of mind that people aren't going to be able to complain too hard. But yeah, I think that brings us on to the Q&A section, and if anyone wants to ask questions in the chat, go ahead and we'll do our best to answer them. The one I have from earlier is one from Snowwolf. He said, quick question for the podcast. What do you think of decks that can kill you by Chapter 2, Slot 1, such as the Linza deck? I personally hate that type of design. And I'm going to kick it off with, I don't think it's that much of a thing anymore. If you used to play in closed beta, you'll know OTK Zan and the cancel that was. Like, literally, you were dead without realising.
OTK Zan. Now you have to get like perfect
dark
draw to actually do it with like a Captain Rovran and everything like that.
Death and stuff like that. Yeah, that's a really awful one to turn kill. But with the regards to Linza, yes, she's strong, and yes, she can quite easily kill you by the end of, like, not even the end, but by midway through Chapter 2. But I also think that A, you need perfect draws, and B, it's very easily countered. Like, you can heal, you can remove a weapon, you can just quite easily counter that, and it's a strong effect. Like, Ozan can kill you by Chapter 3, end of Chapter 3 with his Gold Zan, because you can double, and then it's like, whack, Ling for 50 damage, GG. But that's easily countered. Like, you can remove gold all the way through, you can stop them doubling it, you can remove weapons, and I think that's the case with Linza as well. No, I don't think there's actually a thing that can completely ruin a game from Chapter 1.
I think in card games like this that there has to be the capability of winning a game very, very quickly. But the one caveat of that is it should be rare. So I think at the moment that draw isn't consistent enough with Weapon of Linza that it's a massive problem. The problem in the past was OTKs, and you could do it. You
ran
could do
two
it
of each,
consistently.
didn't you?
Yeah. I think Alcabus has asked the question: what was OTKs, and what was the actual combo?
Something Krill Tokash.
It was safe spot or first tank skeletal champion to get the 6/1 weapon, kill or do a free snapshot for 0 gold. That's really upsetting. Then do the Krill, which is a I don't know, had 7 health, so you could kill it, and then it would kill your next demon. You would get, which would be Tokash. You get a 5/2 weapon. Then Tokash is already killed, so you both take 4 damage, and then you strike your rival with the 5/2 weapon twice with Tokash. It was just so cancerous because you could draw it because you could run 2 of each.
Everything.
Like, you could run 2 of everything.
And
once you get that, like, you didn't even have to do that specific combo anymore. Like, you could just do safe spot into Krill or safe spot into like OTK Zan was so cancerous when it was like 0 gold for snapshot and like Tokash with double strike, not remove weapon, like nothing there. Like, it's just like, it was so easy for that.
Tokash for a long time was the strongest card in the game
by far.
Adding on to what Glenn said a minute ago, I think it's I think it is healthy to have in a game. So kind of high risk, high reward kind of strategy, because otherwise everyone just plays decks that go to the final fight and it's just heal fest. Like having these very aggressive as well as kind of mild aggressive decks kind of gives a nice balance and can make meta swings happen. Like Ryan was saying, obviously it's very draw dependent. You have to have the perfect draw to make this stuff. And even if you do, it's still, you can throw in a few grief cards or bar fights and you can stop your opponent. So you can play around it as well. So I think it is quite useful in the game because it causes different play styles.
The prime example you have...
It has to exist because otherwise AP stack and get decks things and Final Fight decks, they know they can take risks because they're not going to get burst down quickly. So they can... What we're seeing a lot at the moment is things like Dagonal Sentinels and Jads and Ogre Warlords potentially being attacked in the first chapter. Now, I think because we've all done it so much over the past few weeks, we don't actually appreciate that is technically that is a high risk.
Massively.
Because, like, if you think about it, you're at 2 base attack, attacking something with 8 attack and 9 health. That's high risk, but because we get away with it so much, we don't realise it. I don't think.
You're definitely right there. The prime example you have of OTK is if you look at Magic. There's a few decks that can win on turn 1, but the problem is when they got popular, the counters were there. Like if you played that deck, basically if they had the counter, you lost. So I think that's very healthy to have in the game. Like the one-turn kill is still in Magic, but it's just not played as much because if you play it and the opponent knows it's coming, they can just go, "Oh hi, here's your counter. Good game, you've lost."
And that's what causes meta swings, where we've had
Exactly.
like Gold Zone and then people running in red bid to stop it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what makes the game kind of,
But
rather than stale.
that's the
keeps
problem.
continuously
The thing
changing.
is, when the meta changes, I bet you any money Redbeard will still stay in index. And that's the problem for me. It should be a counter of a type that's popular. It shouldn't just be, let me just include this because it's going to draw me 2 cards. It might ruin their game, it might not. Like, that's certain cards like that are a bit annoying. Snowwolf's also mentioned Lady Zay. Obviously, Tank wants
nothing wrong with her.
Tank wants his cannonballs to stay as they are.
Leave them.
But yeah, I think we can't really disagree with the fact that the cannonballs are huge and they do a lot of damage very quickly.
Nope.
It's
You can't just say no.
That's my whole argument.
a lot of the problem with cannonballs is I think that Pirate's Hideout is enabled too easily, and things like that. That basically you don't have to do a whole lot to get all the cannonballs, and then you just lay these out and it's good
taking
game.
3 damage and 1 gold for like 9 damage confirmed is like, not
12.
hard to play.
12 damage.
Or
Confirmed.
12 damage.
Yeah.
It's not
It's
hard
one-
to play.
1 gold, 2 spots, and that's a 12 damage guarantee. Plus, if you have more already in your hand, it's a build-up. So, I mean, yeah,
It's just-
I like to play my cannonballs, but I think you can possibly remove the 3 from Zay, or leave the 3 damage on there and perhaps put a cost onto the card itself.
I like it to be free, but I don't want the 3 damage. But I also
It being
think
free
the
is
cannonballs
actually
should
really
be a lot harder to gain. I think make Pirate's Hideout cost 3, you make it cost even 2 and do 4 damage. You make Rowdy Cannoneer have 3 attack rather than the 2 it has at the minute. Do you know what I mean? Make all these little slight changes and it's going to make that cannonball deck a lot more risky to play, but a lot more rewarding when you can actually do it.
But you've also got the downswing of, not that I'm defending it too much, but it does tank your own hand. So you've got to kind of have some perks to it, because if you play Pirate's Hideout and you've already got like 5-6 cards, you've always got to be careful. Like, I'll always try and count my cards, so by the end of a turn I've got 7 cards, so you can still get the max draw from the following chapter. You can quite easily, and even your opponent can add cards to your hand, so it can kind of tank
Not as
yourself
easily
and cause
now.
more problems.
That's the problem.
Not
It's
as
not as
easily
easy.
with
You
the
add
hours
one.
on.
You add 1 tainted cabbage, and it's kind of like, well, that was good. That didn't actually do that much. But yeah, like maybe we need some sort of way to remove ships from opponent's deck or hand. That'd be quite a good one.
You mean
Like
like, a
major
pirate, how they
cannon.
steal ships?
Or kind of a thing that can
Like,
discard
pirates
cannonballs
sort
from
of
your
steal
opponent's
ships,
hand.
no?
Would it be bad to have something like?
Turn cannonballs into cabbages.
Would it be bad to have a card called something like Somali Pirate, which is steal opponent's ship from hand?
No, you
I don't
can't
think
do
it's-
that. You definitely can't do that, Ryan.
I think just discard ship. Like, that would be great. Just a card that
basically-
just says,
It'd be a nice tech card, wouldn't it?
yeah.
Something like Explosive Potion, but better and for ships. So I don't know.
Now, I don't know why pirates steal ship. Okay, that's why they're saying it. I'm having some trouble saying ship. Now, it could be heard as shit, but pirates steal shit and they steal ships, right?
Well, that's
I
true.
see Pirates of the Caribbean. That was a thing.
Yeah, they need to get Johnny
That was a
Depp to
story.
voice over one of the pirates. I think that'd be great.
Oh yeah, that would be perfect.
Hey, can you just say a few words
Wait.
for us for our game? Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, just a few words. You're gonna be a pirate that steals shit. No, I mean ships. Sorry.
But yeah, if anyone else has got questions in the chat, go ahead, ask them. I think we're coming towards the end. We've been going for nearly 2 hours now, so I think it's just over 2 hours, in fact.
We just hit 2 hours right when you said it.
Yeah.
Well,
so,
I mean, there is a 5-minute countdown, so.
I don't.
Yeah.
Ghost Ship isn't undead, apparently.
Okay. Well,
But I think that's going to
That-
wrap it up for this week. I think we've kind of answered anything that needed to be answered. It's been an absolutely great week. Thanks for coming on, Tank and GameGrime. It's been absolutely wonderful to have you on, and 2 guests that I'll definitely be having back in the future because you haven't caused me too much trouble. Cough, interjection, cough.
okay. That makes a lot of sense.
But yeah, you can go ahead and spam your links to your Twitches in the chat. And yeah, I don't think that's actually a question, so yeah. Aggro is viable. We don't really need to answer these questions. We're just going to wrap it up. So me and Glenn will be back on Sunday for the first Sunday roundup.
I may or may not be here, so you might
will
have
be.
to make
You already said you'll be drunk on a laptop, so...
Yeah, well, I'm going to try and see if I can set my mic up on my laptop while I'm in Wales. It'd be interesting.
If not, it'll just be me. I might get someone on. Maybe I'll get my mum involved.
Oh, maybe no. maybe get Unforgiven, the reigning champion, on.
We'll see. We'll have to work that out as soon as I know. But the guys are putting their links in the chat, guys. Go and follow them. Wolves also could put in. But yeah, go and follow their channels. Go and rack up them grimy coins when GameGrime's live. I don't think Tank has a currency. So that's a disappointment.
Tank coin.
Tank coins. No, you should just be cannonballs.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. And that's all from me. If you want to say bye, go ahead.
Got a couple of things. Look out for the tier list going out tonight from Interjection on Reddit and the forum. Also, shut up. Look out also on the Reddit and the forums for a post about the league system. So if any of you aren't joined up to the league, which I know a number of you aren't, go and have a look on that. There's instructions on how to join the league Discord and what you need to do if you're interested. Yeah, and spread the word. The player base is growing with this game very quickly. So let's keep it that way.
And we'll be looking to grow this whole Friends of Al-Kharid brand, so it's not just the two things we have every week. So yeah, look out for that, and I guess it's goodbye from me, and goodbye from everyone else.
Oh, I can't say bye?
Yeah.
Go on, GameGrime.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
See you guys.
See you later. Peace.